Welcome! This is a simulation cockpit or Simpit that I use mostly to play Star Citizen and occasionally other games too. And this is an overview video of the setup. I started this project last fall, but a Simpit is never truly ready, so after being inspired by some amazing projects like the Project Warthog and after its flight, I decided to start this own channel. This is just to document my progress with this build. I also have my website at undeadparrot.com, so if you want to check some extra details or see some work in progress photos, you can also check that one out. This first video will be a quick overview, and in future videos will go a bit deeper into some details. Also, I'm planning to make some videos about the upgrade projects that I'm going to have, and perhaps even occasional gameplay videos. So if this sounds interesting, don't forget to subscribe. Now let's start the tour. The whole project started with an old Volvo seat. It's cheap, it's comfortable, and it has great adjustments. Everything you might expect from a premium car seat. The frame itself is built from 1x2 wood and from cheap wood boards, and it has casters underneath for easy access. The three displays on the top are 22-inch Samsung G5s. I'm using a triple monitor arm for them, but I had to add some extra support since the curvature is so high. The top one screen is a simple generic 23-inch display that I'm using for stuff like Discord. On the right side I have Whirlpool warbird base with Constellation Alpha grip. I'm using traditional aircraft controls, so the joystick has pitch and roll and the pedals have yaw. That might not be the most competitive setup for space simulation, but that's most fun for me. And I think that's the governing principle with the whole setup. I'm not aiming to be a good player, I just want to build a fun setup that I like to play with. Other than that, there's the Whirlpool control panel number 2 that I'm actually planning to move on the left side because it has the landing gear lever here. Then some 3D printed panels that control the power settings. A power key that actually is the power switch for my PC, and a dimmer for the LEDs. Since I need to have FPS controls with me, I have the mouse here. This keyboard is sitting on an old monitor arm stuff that I had lying around. And then the most important part, a cup holder. Never build a Simpit without cup holder. On the left side I have again warbird base with Constellation Delta grip and Whirlpool horizontal adapter. This dual joystick setup is starting to be quite common with space sims. I use the left joystick for thrusters and strafing, and with the vertical adapter it just feels far more natural. So basically forward and backward, left, right, and up and down. And then there's the older Whirlpool throttle here for other simulators and just to have some extra buttons. The Whirlpool control panel number 1 and the Stream Deck. That's just quite useful for many things. I'm planning to replace this eject button at some point with the proper eject lever, but might have some use for this. And then there's some empty space for future projects. Since I need to be able to move around on FPS mode, I have the Razer Tartarus version 2 here that I can actually just easily push here when I need it. The center console is the latest addition to my setup. Not a touchscreen, but the LG's 25-inch ultrawide just fits the setup perfectly. Currently I'm using it with GameGlass custom shard. It might not be the most useful with Star Citizen before CRG implements some sort of APIs for the game, but it's still a nice addition and I can use it to control some rare stuff. And I can have other useful tabs open on the browser. The center panel controls the computer behind the display. It's just a cheap second-hand Intel NUC that I bought recently. It has a trackball mouse buttons and Stream Deck Mini. That's quite useful here. So, how did you like the setup? Feel free to comment. And if you're new to Star Citizen, you can use my referral code that's in the description to get some extra credit when signing up with the game. So, if you'd like to join me on the journey, to see where the setup is heading, don't forget to subscribe. I'm planning to make videos something like once a month in the beginning.